Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for joining us for our new Edward J. Lewis II Lawyers in the Classroom program series. For those of you who aren't aware, the Chicago Bar Association's Edward J. Lewis II Lawyers in the Classroom program has existed for over 30 years. The program, which was originally a part of Constitutional Rights Foundation Chicago, involves me, Tiffany Watson, director of the program and former teacher and administrator, placing attorneys in second through eighth grade classrooms, specifically social studies, social sciences, and literature classrooms, to teach students about the U.S. Constitution, their constitutional rights, our legal system, and their rights and responsibilities under the law. Now, under the auspices of the Chicago Bar Association's 501c3 since 2019, the Lawyers in the Classroom program has continued to flourish. Attorney volunteers are partnered with teachers to provide students with grade level lessons for knowledge based on real life experiences, help them develop their critical thinking skills, and offer young people an opportunity to interact with a variety of positive adult role models. The purpose of this series is for you to learn more about our participants in the Lawyers in the Classroom program, i.e., our attorney volunteers and teacher partners, while also learning about what they've experienced during our Lawyers in the Classroom visits. Today, we're speaking with one of our new attorney volunteers, Miss Pilar Mendez. And Pilar is a healthcare associate at Barnes and Thornburg LLP. And she has been there for a while, and we're just so happy that she's a part of the Lawyers in the Classroom program. Thank you, Pilar, for joining us today.
Happy to be here. Thanks, Tiffany.
So just to get things started, why did you decide to be a part of the Lawyers in the Classroom program?
Well, the way that I sort of view the world in terms of healthcare and what I do is really systemic, and everything sort of interacts with one's health, whether it's where people live, work, play, or pray. And so thinking through the legal pipeline and the ways in which we can diversify the legal profession as a Latina lawyer myself, which is grossly underrepresented to say the least, especially in terms of higher education, master's degrees, what have you. I really saw it as an opportunity for folks who look like me from similar backgrounds and experiences to see what it's like to have an attorney teach them about very interesting and sometimes complex legal issues that really don't have a straightforward answer. And so it's really fun to be a part of something that is really molding and shaping the future of the profession, even if it's not, a classroom full of lawyers or budding attorneys, people who might now view the world in a different way, who might respect other opinions and differences, and really start to think about learning and being in classrooms as a way to seek to understand, whether it's a topic that they don't want to touch again, but it's really sort of more about the skill building and fostering those relationships. And so as soon as I heard about the program, I had to immediately sign up.
Oh, we're so glad you're a part of the program. So what do you believe are some of the benefits of the Lawyers in the Classroom program?
So I think there are a couple of things, especially for new attorneys. It's a great way to sort of build on presentation and develop, personal skill sets, interpersonal relationships, and networking with other attorneys. You're usually paired with someone a little bit more senior or well-versed in the program, but also of a, different background than you. I was paired with a white male from Chicago. And so it was a great sort of sounding board and opportunity for us to really engage in critical discussions around constitutional law issues, which was one of my favorite subjects in law school. And so besides that sort of personal professional development, what have you, it's really sort of thinking about, well, how is this going to benefit? Am I going to be doing, more harm than good? And being able to, be in a classroom full of very bright students who are eager to learn and really wanting to, learn from you and have that sort of mutual respect from the very beginning is something that is, a great benefit of the program, because it's a really interesting opportunity for, even myself to learn something new and hear a new perspective and way of analyzing an issue or thinking through very complex problems of the day.
Excellent. And so then I know that you most recently went into a virtual classroom, so this is probably very fresh. But if you
Yes.
would like to share any highlights from your experiences through the Lawyers in the Classroom programs, anything that sticks out to you?
Yeah, and sort of continuing off of that last train of thought there, when it comes to the ways in which our young people view the world and view, we were, talking about First Amendment rights and whether or not those sort of leave or are left at the classroom door when students walk in. And it's so interesting to think about, especially, growing up. I'm from Honolulu, Hawaii, and have very different, background and experience from the folks that I was teaching and actually, learning from. Talking through some of these issues about a 1960s Supreme Court case where students were wearing, armbands with a peace sign. It was just so funny to hear from people being like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Like, why is this even a case? Like, how could people be so offended by such a message? And we were really able to talk about very pertinent and critical topics within the past year regarding racism, the January riots, all of these, very poignant political statements that are occurring here and now that, I'm not a therapist by any means, but there are a lot of like unresolved and really under appreciated discussions that aren't, necessarily happening in the home, and students are really grappling with a lot of things that they're seeing on the news and in media. And every state is different, every education system is different, but when you're in a classroom where, to be, quite frank, the students were extremely political and making statements like, why wouldn't I care about these issues? Like, I want to be a well-informed voter. And it really made me, take a step back and be thinking about the ways in which my education system failed me and the ways that I had to, look to other mentors, to higher education, to even what was on TV for television shows or movies, what have you. And so these were just some of like the very critical aha moments during that just one classroom session I just participated in.
Excellent. That's excellent that you were able to connect the Tinker v. Des Moines case to what's going on today, which is kind of the point, right? And so the students, it sounds like they engaged with that right away and were able to make the connection right away and able to look at all of the similarities right away. So that was, I'm sure, an engaging discussion. So yeah, I'm so glad that you were able to make be a part of the program and to connect with the students. It sounds like for them to have opened up about how they feel politically and even emotionally, you must have, fostered a great relationship, which is also a significant part of teaching in general when you teach anything. So I'm so glad that they were comfortable and were engaged. And so we're just so happy that you're a part of the program and that the students connected with you so easily.
No, I think it's, a very important part of, inserting myself in a new space is really making sure that it's a mutual respect there, that I very much so am not just this authoritative figure giving a lesson and saying, this is the takeaway or this is what you need to know. Mm-hmm. And part of the reasons why it was kind of funny and bringing me back to those horrific like cold call moments in law school of like, oh no, please don't ask me a question, or I don't know the answer, I don't know what to say. It was great to be, among students who were very open and willing to share their opinions and, sometimes push back of a question or a statement that was made. And in a, very respectful way, of course, but but just thinking through, there's so many issues and questions that come up when you're talking about, student speech and whether or not, wearing a t-shirt with a saying is allowed and who has that sort of authority to allow it. And it was, very interesting to hear from the students who were, very for sort of that governmental reach, and then some of the students who are, more for individual rights and having that very engaging and interesting dialogue. But again, it really comes down to listening and not really, inserting any sort of personal opinion there, but just trying to probe and respectfully, push a little bit with some of the comments.
Right, getting them to think about both sides, getting them to look at the angle and also the time period, right? So they probably thought it was very, ridiculous, this whole armband thing, when, the context, it made sense, but they were not connecting, initially about what was going on during that time period. But bringing it full circle to today was just, just so important. And I'm so glad that you were able to do that. It sounds like you had a phenomenal experience. So again, thank you again. Thank you again for being a part of the program. And I look forward to working with you as the years continue with this program.
Yeah, likewise, Tiffany, and look forward to working with new attorneys too.
Yes, 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 yes. All right. Well, thank you so much.